oh, really get behind it, really push and get behind it. That's a great person to have in your network. Being the person with all the answers. This is something also I do not advise in networking. Now, I told you I worked at Wells Fargo for 20 years. And super sadly, guys, I was laid off. My job was eliminated. I loved my job. It was massive bummer. So I was out for a couple years, networking, meeting people, right? Just expanding, like we've all had to go through from time to time. And it still is remarkable to me how frequently I would encounter someone, just a stranger networking, right? And they would be like, yeah, Lori, how long have you had that problem? And I was like, what? You know, just, and it would happen sometimes, and forgive me if anybody in this room is a coach, that was commonly what would happen. If I met somebody networking who makes some or all of their living as a one-on-one coach for career or executive coach, it's like they were analyzing me and just looking for like, where is her weak underbelly? So I can just put a finger in there and twist it and then show her how desperately she needs my services as her pompous life coach is how I always receive that. I always receive that way. We have, when we meet a new person, no idea who we're talking to. We have no idea who we're talking to. We could be explaining mansplaining to the woman who came up with the term mansplaining. And that actually happened one time. My friend was a witness to it. He couldn't believe it. They were in a small conversation, mostly strangers, but he was there with his friend, a woman who invented and came up with the term mansplaining, was at first exposed like in the New Yorker. And some guy in the group was like, hey everybody, have you heard of this new phenomenon? There's a term for it, it's called mansplaining. And this woman humbly said, oh, yeah, I came up with that. I wrote an article about it. Well, everybody, you know what that is? It's when a guy, and he starts running. He basically mansplaining. And she had to keep kind of trying to curb him, right? But my point is, you could be explaining your ideas about marketing to somebody who is a professor of marketing at the Carlson School of Management. It happens. You could be explaining sound engineering to Ray, not knowing, he's been doing this for 25 years, you know. Actually, probably since you were 9 weeks old, am I right? Yeah, just about. So I really super advise people, do not give unsolicited advice as part of networking, and especially when you meet a stranger. The risk is it does not come off as you looking fantastic and posh and wonderful and opinion leader. It really comes off as you're a pest. You're just kind of having an attitude and assigning yourself a lot more, I'm going to call it like altitude, right? Altitude should be granted. It's like this idea respect is earned. Shouldn't have to demand that. So that's my thing about the answers. So Lori's summary of tips. Someone in your network finds you pleasant, finds interactions with you to be friendly, in no way stressful at all, and really considers, hey, this is a great person to have in my network because they have a lot to offer, including they're genuinely interested in me. They're genuinely listening, and they're genuinely interested in what are some of my goals, some of my dreams. And then maybe today or next week or a year from now, maybe one or both of us might find a way to help each other. That's kind of how simple it is. And these were the types of things that I was doing unwittingly, right, that made for this big, robust network. So, further, I want to pause for a second. Any comments? Comments? Questions?
Makes sense.
Darcy, yes? Okay, makes sense.
One of the things that I struggle with when I'm thinking about connecting with others is I often go into what people call TMI. Now, maybe that's not advice, but it's too much information. Would you consider that in that past, if it's not advice, but it's borderline too much sharing?
That is a good question. And, you know, hey, we're all human. There is no goal tonight to transform all of us into robots and be perfect, you know. I think it's just something to be alert to. Sometimes, maybe I've said this to you, Darcy, I certainly have said it to Louise, if I sense like, gosh, my mouth has been moving for a while, you know, I will then stop myself and I'll say, hey, you know, I've been talking for a bit and now I want to pause and let's reverse this. I want to hear about you. And I have had people say that to me too in a network situation. They'll say, gosh, I told you about me, but okay, change it up. I want to hear about you. So it's maybe just a piece of self-awareness. But Darcy, dare I say, I find you delightful on all occasions. So I cannot imagine you making that type of boo-boo. But it's a good question. It's like, how much information is enough? You know, I think of it like orientation. You know, people don't need to get an associate's degree in us when they just meet us. But it's okay if they have, remember when you go to college, it's like freshman orientation. It's like, okay, here's what the student union is. Great, yay. That's what we want. We want people to have like a light orientation, who we are, what we're up to. Okay, I want to get an orientation to you. I think that's sufficient. And then, again, you can figure out later on, we've all done this, yeah. Do we want to have coffee together? Do, you know, should I have them come visit my place of business? Maybe we're going to transact business together. Those sorts of things can grow from there. Any other comments?